Hi, everyone. I am Connie Sabo-Schmucker, Advocacy Director at Bicycle Garage Indy, and I am being joined by Marc O'Leary with the Dustbowl 100. He's going to talk to us about this event that is held in Eminence, Indiana. And I just want to do a few announcements. So Bicycle Garage Indy has been doing Spotlight on Bicycling for a couple of years, recording and highlighting different organizations and events in Indiana and mostly central Indiana. And we've been doing them live. And this year in 2023, I'm actually recording them and we'll be posting them and sharing them so that people will be able to see them. You will still be able to go to bgindy.com/4/spotlight to see all of the different ones, or BGI's YouTube page, and I'll share them on Facebook as well. So you'll still be able to find them. And we look forward to, a great year of hearing about other organizations and what's happening in bicycling in Indiana and central Indiana. So without further ado, I will go ahead and turn this over to Marc. And Marc, I may interrupt you a couple different times and ask you some questions, but feel free to go ahead and tell us all about the Dustbowl 100.
All right, great. Thanks, Connie. Yeah, interrupt me as much as you want through this. So I'm Marc O'Leary, event director of the Dustbowl 100 gravel race. I am also the team president of Team Elevate Endurance, cycling team out on the west side of Indianapolis. And I run Elevate Endurance LLC, which is the company, I promote the Dustbowl 100 under. So really just want to touch base, talk about the Dustbowl 100 and, give some of the viewers maybe some information on the event that they weren't aware of before. So first off, just for a little bit of background here. So the Dustbowl 100, again, it's a gravel bicycle race. It takes place out in Morgan and Putnam counties, so kind of the west central side of Indiana, about 30 to 45 minutes west of downtown Indianapolis. So it's pretty convenient location. It's some of the closer gravel that somebody in Indianapolis can get to, out just west of downtown. So the Dustbowl 100 headquarters are in Eminence, Indiana. So a small town, 50 residents. There's a convenience store in town, a bank, fire department, a couple of churches, and in the school system there. So it's a really small town, but it's a great town. They're fully supportive of the event, love to have us in town. And it's just fun to kind of spotlight and bring and highlight, kind of a small town Indiana, and give back to the community in some ways too. So we offer 3 different route options: 44 miles, 80 miles, and 100 miles. So kind of a wide range. If you want to go out and knock out a century in gravel, we've got that option for you. But if you aren't sure you can knock out that mileage, or I just want a shorter day on the bike, we have a 44-mile option, and then the 80s kind of in between that. And I'll jump into a little more of what the route looks like here shortly. We're a relatively new event. So in 2020, I had the idea in early 2020, January, to put on a gravel race. And my thought was to do it that summer, and then COVID hit and obviously threw things into a bit of a mess there. I was still able to throw together a really small grassroots free event that summer, with just 40 participants, mainly friends and teammates, and kind of did a test run of what an event might look like. And again, we had 40 participants there, got some great feedback on the course, the venue, and some different ideas and thoughts through that. So it was actually a blessing in disguise to not do a full-blown event that first year, and just kind of get my feet under me and kind of learn how we could make it an even better event when we made it official. So 2021 rolled around, made it an official event with official timing, results, paid entry, and actually sold out the first year at 400 participants. So with COVID restrictions, the event per the health departments was capped at 400 participants, and we hit that goal actually pretty quickly. Jumped into 2022 and didn't have the the gathering restrictions, so we increased the participant count to 600 to increase the event, but also not kind of we didn't want to have too many people coming in and just blow the event up from the beginning. So we thought 200 added to that initial number would be a manageable growth, and so we had 600 participants come in last year. Actually had participants from 20 different states and then 2 countries. So we had a couple from Canada come in last year for the race. And that, after last year, started to get some kind of definitely regional recognition, but even some national recognition. So, this past winter, we were named as one of the top 23 gravel races for 2023 by the Fast Cat Coaching Podcast, which is a pretty big podcast in the cycling world. So that was pretty cool to see and rewarding to see some of the work being recognized. And so for 2023, our third official year, we set a cap at 800 participants, open registration on January 1st. And actually within about a week, we had sold all those spots out. So 2 things we did this year, and I'll talk about some of this more, but we really wanted to increase the kind of the participant makeup and some of the diversity and genders across the event. So one thing we did this year was we reserved 200 spots for women and 25 spots for junior participants. Both of those numbers came to those because those would be doubling last year's participant numbers for women and juniors. So we did already sell out all 25 junior participant spots for 2023. And as of today, which is February 1st, we have about 60 of the women's 200 reserve spots still remain. So we've got about 140 women signed up so far, which already well exceeds last year's participant counts for women, and we're pretty excited about that. So, and then mission, what kind of the why behind the event is really threefold, and I'll basically the rest of the presentation will touch on this. Is one. We just want to provide a great ride experience for both an avid cyclist, a racer, and those that are newer to the sport or maybe have never even tried gravel before. So just want to have a great participant experience. And then we want to expand and encourage youth cycling and build those opportunities in central Indiana. So I mentioned reserving spots for juniors, and then we also give back quite a bit to some youth cycling initiatives, which I can touch on. And then the last kind of pillar is to promote and support the local economy. So just, again, shedding a light on some communities that might not be tourist destinations, most of the time, but there's some great things in those communities, and just giving back to those communities is an important part of the event. So first, to touch on the route, just high level. And this is based on the 100-mile route. All these details and metrics here, if you kind of just either take them in half or take a third of them, that's kind of the breakdown of the 80-mile and the 44-mile kind of an elevation gain and miles of gravel, et cetera. But for the 100-mile route, about 60% of the course is gravel. The other 40 miles or so are going to be anything from really fresh, smooth asphalt to some rougher pavement, and then even to some chip and sealed roads. So kind of varies in between there, but the 60 miles of gravel are really kind of pristine and prime gravel, pretty small gravel. It's packed in well, it's fast, it's smooth riding. So it's really enjoyable type of gravel to ride. Course in total, so over the course of the ride, you'll gain 3,500 feet of elevation on the 100-mile course, which spread out over 100 miles isn't a lot, but at the same time it does add up. So the funny part is or the participants oftentimes will say, why did you have to throw in the last couple of hills, or some of the bigger hills at the end of the course? And the fact is, it's those hills are about the same as you'll see on the rest of the course, but just over the course of the day, each hill gets a little bit harder and a little bit harder. And we actually have one that we call the gravel pitch, about 10 miles from the finish. And it's no more than, 50 feet, high, or you gain 50 feet of elevation, but it's pretty steep and pretty straight up. And there are people that walk that, every single year. No shame. I've had to get off my bike and walk up it as well. So it's just little things throughout the course like that add to that elevation gain. But more or less, it's pretty flat, pretty smooth, and a little bit of rolling, so it's manageable for anybody to be able to ride. And then a couple of the iconic features on the course. So there are a lot of historic bridges that we cross, and if you see in our logo, we've kind of got an iron bridge as part of the logo. So we've got 7 historic bridges. 2 of those are covered bridges on the north end of the route, which are really cool to go through. We've got 2 100-plus-year-old concrete bridges that are really unique and kind of stand out on the on the terrain. And then 3 iron bridges, historic iron bridges, which are really cool as well, with the trusses and just kind of iconic for the area. And then 2 off-road sections. So all courses, 44, 80, and the 100, have 2 of these off-road sections. One of them is just an old, unmaintained. It was a county road, but it's no longer a county road. It's on private property now. So it's basically a dirt 2-track section, about a half-mile long, through the woods. Just spices things up a little bit and makes it fun. Definitely gets some break from the sun there. It's pretty dark in there in the middle of day, just with the tree coverage and stuff. So it's a cool little section. And then I think something unique for our event that you don't see a lot of other places is that our finish is actually about a quarter mile to a half mile long of a cyclocross course coming into the finish. So instead of putting participants back out on the state highway to finish, we bring them back in through the school property on the backside and go through some grass, go across a tractor pull track, kind of at the fairground area there. And it's just kind of unique. We go across a little bridge. So 2 fun sections there on course. And then, lastly, with the routes, we have 5 SAG stops, anywhere from 15 to 25 miles apart. So you're never going very far without being able to stop for water, snacks, drinks. And those are fully stocked with about anything you would need for a long ride. So I thrown a few quotes in here from participants that I thought might be good to share, and kind of ties into some of the stuff I'm talking about. So I guess, related to the course, this is a quote from Chanel, who's actually participated in the event, going back to the first one we had in 2020. But said, "I like so much about it, but I think what sets it apart from other races is the course itself. So many gravel races are just a miserable sufferfest. The Dustbowl course is as challenging as you want it to be. People with a lot of miles under their belts can hit it hard and fast, but it's not so terrifying that newer or less strong riders are unable to complete it. I can't emphasize how much I appreciate the fact that this race is inclusive for all riders of all abilities. It truly is a standout race." So again, you can take it as hard and as fast as you want, or you can go out and enjoy the day, and really anybody's going to be able to accomplish and complete the race. So kind of take pride in that.
Yeah, so I was going to ask a little bit
go ahead.
About, so if someone was new and wanted to do this, what type of bike should they?
So we have, you'll see all kinds of different bikes out there. They now make gravel specific bikes with, the geometry that's kind of an endurance geometry that's going to make it comfortable to ride for all day in the saddle. But we see people out there on mountain bikes, see a lot of mountain bikes. We've seen some road bikes if you can get some wider tires in there. The gravels, we see hybrid bikes too. So really you can pretty much ride any bike that you have. The gravel is pretty tame and smooth in most parts. So as long as you can get like a 32, like at a minimum, you want a 32 millimeter wide tire. On average, somewhere between 35 and 38 millimeters is kind of what the go-to is, and you should have zero issues if you can get that. So I'd say for the most part, we see gravel bikes, cyclocross bikes, or mountain bikes out on course. So I guess touching on that participant experience some more, we do offer a lot of rider perks. The entry fees for the event. So the 100-mile course is $85, and then $65 for the 80-mile, and $45 for the 44-mile. So, if you compare that to a lot of the gravel races, in my opinion, it's a pretty good deal. You get a lot of value for that cost. And so I'm going to go to kind of all the stuff that you do get as a participant. So pre and post ride, tons of things, and we continue to add to this each year and make it a better, pre and post race experience. But Friday afternoon, for anybody that's in town or wants to come out, we do a shakeout ride or a pre-ride of the course. That's free. It just gives anybody an opportunity to kind of check out what the gravel's like, what the course is like. It's a 20-mile route, so we go through the first 6 miles of the route of where the race starts, kind of jaunt over to another part on course, and then come back in on the final 11 miles. So it allows anybody to see, the start and finish that they're going to see the next day on the race. And so that's Friday afternoon. We offer some early packet pickup options. So, before that shakeout ride, participants can pick up their packet and race number and all of that. And then Friday night, we also have a packet pickup at Nye Brew Pub in Plainfield. So brewery, people can grab food, get meals, and we have packet pickup there. Just making it convenient for people to get their packet and not have to do it Saturday morning. We offer pre and post race meals, all included in your entry fee. So that includes donuts and then coffee on Saturday morning. So you get your sugar, get your caffeine, you're ready to go. And then post race, we offer barbecue. So a barbecue meal, either pulled pork, pulled chicken. We have vegan and vegetarian options too. And then, one of probably the most popular thing that we offer is we have Frigid Frog is a snow cone. They have a food truck. And so they come out and all the participants get a coupon to get a free snow cone after the race. And being in July in Indiana, it's always hot. And so just that snow cone is a hit. Everybody, it cools people down and just it's fun. So you got about 30 different flavors you can choose from, and that line is always long at that snow cone truck. So we have live music, which we introduced last year and are bringing back this year. So, after the race, grab your food, snow cone, hang out, listen to live music, watch your friends finish. And we have a vendor expo. So we have quite a few vendors have tents set up, anywhere from bikes to gear, to merchandise, really just so you can take a look around, see what offerings are there. Again, just hang out for a little bit after the race and have a good time. And then we have a bike wash station. So Ceramic Speed provides us with drivetrain cleaner and lube, and we have a pressure washer set up on site there, so you can clean your bike off, get it all cleaned up, lubed up again, and you don't have to take a dirty, dusty bike home with you. And that's right there on site. And then 2 other things we introduced last year. One was showers. So again, you get your bike clean, you want to get yourself clean. So we offered showers. Actually, the school there has allowed us access to their locker room facilities at the gym. And the cool thing about that is that's a fundraiser for their school. So they charge $5 for shower access, and all of that goes right back into the school's athletic department budget. So they, throughout the year can use those funds to provide their student athletes with some additional things that they wouldn't typically get. And then we offered on-site camping. So Friday and Saturday nights, if people want to come and camp, we have camping options as well. So it makes it kind of a fun, full weekend. And then during the ride, just kind of things you may expect, but a couple additional things is chip timing. So, being it's a race or a ride, however you want to treat it, but everybody's going to get a time, a finishing time, so that they can come back the next year and maybe try to beat that time if they're not racing, but they still have a time they can compare themselves to year over year. And we have split timing out on course too. So at three different locations, there'll be a timing mat that they'll cross, and that way people at home can kind of follow along throughout the day and kind of track your progress, see where you are on course. Which is it's a really cool thing for that interaction with people following along with you. I talked about the SAG stops, 5 of those, about anything you would want. We have a Gatorade Endurance drink mix, gels, We have water, we have pickle juice at a lot of the aid stations, and then all the snacks that you need. So it'll get you through the day. But I know some people like their own nutrition, hydration, those type of things. So we do offer a drop bag service. So participants, we give everybody a 1 gallon Ziploc bag. You can fit up to 2 water bottles in that, all the snacks you want, even a little bit of clothing. And if you want to utilize that, if you're doing the 80 or the 100-mile course, you can put your stuff in there, put it in one of our trucks race morning. We'll take it out to the kind of the middle sag stop on course, and it'll be there waiting for you to get whatever you want out of that when you get there that day. And then leave whatever you want in that bag, and we'll pick it up and bring it back to the finish for you. So kind of a nice convenient service that we offer there. And then lastly, just course wise, not many gravel races do this, but we completely mark the entire course. So we have yard signs at every single intersection, every single turn, telling you which way to go. We call out some, hazards or other things with these signs throughout the course as well. We still encourage everybody to have this route loaded on a bike computer or their phone, or have a cue sheet with them, just in case somebody decides to be funny and move the signs on us or something like that. But as long as there's no funny business, the course will be completely marked, and you won't have to be staring at your computer all day long. And we also have the first 20 miles have course marshals out on course at every single intersection where there could be traffic or cross traffic. We'll have somebody there monitoring that, making sure you get through those intersections without issues. And then out on course later, any highway intersections or busy crossings, we have the Putnam County Sheriff's Department out there monitoring those intersections. So as safe as we can make an open course, we do everything we can to make it really safe and avoid any potential issues. And then we have some support vehicles following around the race all day. If you have a mechanical, or for one reason or another you can't finish the race, we have the ability to pick you up and bring you back to Eminence. And then lastly here quick is the swag that everybody gets. So get a free event t-shirt. We have photographers all out on course throughout the day at the finish line, and then out on course grabbing photos that everybody has access to for free after the event. Every participant gets a finisher award. So we give out a water bottle that says Dustbowl 100 finisher to everybody as they cross the line. Last year, we also gave out cooling towels from Gatorade Endurance. So we had those soaked in ice water, draped a towel over finishers as they came through. And that was really nice to cool them down, let them clean up with. And we plan to do that this year as well. And we also have another little finisher memento we're working on this year. Don't have all the details yet and can't really say what that is, but there'll be something else that we include this year for all the finishers. And then those that, treat it as a race, we do have trophies for all the podiums, for all the age groups and categories and distances. We have some really cool die cut metal, kind of vintage or rusted metal trophies or signs that we give out to all those podium participants. And then we have for the 100-mile and 100-mile men's and women's top finisher, we have what we call the Dustbowl trophy. So it's a basically a bowl made out of old bike chains, all welded together into the shape of a bowl, coated in gold paint. It's kind of a unique trophy that we give out to those overall winners. And then swag bags for participants, lots of goodies in there. And then we do giveaways of other big items from some of our sponsors throughout the day. So bike helmets, sunglasses, bike kits. We did a pressure washer last year from one of our sponsors. So lots of cool things that participants have the option to get throughout the day.
What time does the event start?
Yeah, good question. So we've gone to a staggered start with the 3 distances. So the 100-mile event starts at 8 a.m. The 80-mile distance starts at 8:15, and then the 44-mile distance starts at 8:30. So kind of everybody's there together, but then space out those starts to make it a little safer, and then people know who they're riding and racing against and with throughout the day. And then it also staggering it allows people to start finishing a little more closer together and have everybody back in a closer time frame.
Yeah. So Of the participants that you have, what's the breakdown of people who do the 100 versus the 80 and 44?
Yeah, so that's a good question. The 100 is the most popular. I think it's kind of that bucket list item and goal for people. So um, typically 60 to 65% of the participants do the 100-mile distance. And then it's the 44 is the next most popular. I think that's a good kind of entry level, or somebody that doesn't want to be out on the bike all day. The 44s are great for both of those situations. And so that's typically, I'd say, another 25% of participants. And then the 80 is kind of just, you know, I don't know, the last 10% or 15% of participants fall into that 80-mile distance. But the 44 and the 100 seem to be the most popular for sure. And I guess to speak to the perks is this quote from Michael from Nashville, Tennessee. The whole experience was very inclusive at all distances. Seeing so many women participating was awesome. The communication was absolutely incredible. The on-course photographers were wonderful. The cold, wet towel at the end was pure heaven. It was simply an amazing event that was fun for all, like it should be, but like so few actually accomplish.
Yeah, I think the cold, wet towel on a hot July day, especially some of the days that we had this past year, that would have been very welcome.
It was really popular, and so we sent out a post-event survey, and that was maybe one of the top things we heard is that, like, that towel was great. You have to bring it back next year. So yeah, it was really good. And so I won't spend a lot of time on this slide, but again, just speaking to that wanting to create the best participant experience that we can. So again, I mentioned we sent out a post-event survey, and one of the questions was, compare the Dust Bowl 100 to another gravel event that you've participated in the past, and how does the Dust Bowl relate to all those other experiences? And as you can see here, so like overall event, route, course marking, sag stops, post-race atmosphere, packet pickup, venue, parking, communication. All of those scored, or participants, so sorry, 80% or more of participants scored the Dust Bowl 100 in those categories as either among the best or better than average. So again, trying to give the best participant experience that we can, and I think the feedback we've gotten so far speaks to that, and just really encourages us to keep improving and keep doing better each year. So one last quote here, and then we'll get into kind of the next pillars of our mission. But so I was intimidated by racing on gravel, but learned a lot and had a blast. I've been to a ton of endurance races, and most are well done, but this was next level. I'm seriously impressed, and I'm definitely hooked on gravel racing. Can't wait to do it again next year. So participant experience is one pillar. The next one is giving back, or really increasing those youth cycling opportunities in Indiana, and just cycling opportunities in general in Indiana. So, as an example, here's how we gave back in 2022, and I'll speak a little bit more to each of these. But so in 2022, we donated 9 bicycles to students in the Eminence school system, and actually, since the event started, we've given in total 15 bikes to Eminence schools. It's just encouraging, those students in the school system to get out, explore their local roads, be active. And the school uses these bikes to, encourage and reward students for behavior and in academics throughout the year. So they set some goals and metrics, and certain students in the school, when they hit those, get rewarded with a bicycle. So it's pretty cool to then see those kids, get the bike, the excitement that they have when they get that bike, and just hopefully give them the opportunity to get out there and be active and find a love in cycling. And I mentioned it earlier, but so last year we raised $1,000 for Eminence, or for their athletic department, through camping fees and shower fees. And actually this year so far, we've about triple those numbers so far, and we're still quite a ways away from the event. So raising quite a bit of money for the athletic department there in Eminence. And then the other kind of youth cycling initiative that we've helped with the last couple of years is we partner with the Indiana Interscholastic Cycling League, so Indiana's NICA chapter. They allow us to use some of their event equipment, so some of the cones, the step ins, the fencing, the tape that they use at their events. They let us utilize some of that, and in turn, we donate some of our proceeds back to them. And over the course of the last 2 years, I've funded 10 full scholarships for their season. So last year we donated, enough funds to fund 6 scholarships. Allowing 6 students last year to participate in the league without having any really any out-of-pocket costs for them. So I'm just trying to grow the sport that way as well. And then the last 2 things. One is a really cool initiative that we started back in 2020 or 2022. We partnered with Fast Cat Coaching and Westfield Cycle Sports to present the 0 to 100 challenge. So this is basically a all-inclusive fitness scholarship, I guess, that we award to a beginning cyclist. So it could be a junior. We haven't given it to a junior yet, but it could be a junior. Could be somebody coming back from an injury or an illness, somebody that's never ridden gravel, basically somebody that, by their definition or in their mind, they're kind of starting at level 0. And the goal is to get them to 100. And that 100 obviously is finishing the Dustbowl 100, the 100-mile course. And we really give them everything that they would need to be successful in that. So they get a gravel bike, kicker, trainer, kit, water bottles and stuff from Westfield. Fast Cat provides them personalized training, a training plan, a coach that works with them, from basically January through July. And then they get a free race entry and some other perks as well. And so Chelsea was our participant last year, and her longest ride prior to taking part in this challenge, I think, was 19 miles on the road. And she went through the whole training and successfully and more than successfully completed the race last year, the 100-mile distance. So that was really cool to see her progression in accomplishing that challenge. So we're offering that again this year. And then the last way that, we give back is we've got those 5 aid stations, and it's hard to know exactly how much food we need. So we always buy more than we need. And that leftover food always goes to the Eminence Christian Church food pantry. So last year we donated 1,500 food items there. In previous years, we've donated the food as well. And a lot of that actually goes back into the Eminence school system. So they build bags for the, some of the lower income or underprivileged kids to take home over weekends and breaks with some of that food and give them, some healthy snacks to take home. So those are really the main ways that we give back, and just try to grow cycling and the community through that.
I was wondering, you mentioned NICA. I was wondering if there was a NICA team in your area, or if there was thought of possibly sponsoring a team.
There is a team, I think Southwest Side Composites, based out of Martinsville, but kind of hits the Morrisville, Plainfield area on kind of the southwest side of Indy. So nothing out in Putnam or Morgan counties. But I think it would be interesting, or would be really cool to see something start up at some of those schools and have those conversations. But I guess we haven't had any of those specific discussions yet. And then I think, so the third pillar that I wanted to talk about is, again, promoting and supporting the local economy, and, shining some light on some smaller communities that might not have that tourist income or interest most of the time. So for 2022, for example, 31% of our participants came in from more than 200 miles away. So, they're going to be, spending money on hotels, on meals, on gas, those type of things in the community, and bringing some of those dollars in. So, based on our post-race survey, looks like on average participants spend about $300 during their trip coming into town and in town, which was about $150,000 economic impact for the area. And then you know, in addition to that, or as part of that, is about a little over 50% of participants spent at least one night away from home to attend the event. So, you know, again, driving those people into town, spending money at hotels, restaurants, convenience stores, those type of things, and just you know, helping those communities out. So Eminence has, I mentioned, a convenience store, the Dairyland. They have great pizza, great food. So it's always cool to see, you know, participants in there the weeks and the month leading up to the event, you know, out riding the course early, spending time in there, and then, you know, race day. It's a pretty busy happening place too. So um, making a decent impact in the economy. So it's probably getting close enough of me talking, but a couple last slides here. I guess a couple things from you all that we could use help with. And the big one is volunteer needs. It's kind of the biggest concern or the hardest thing to always nail down every year. You know, with 800 participants coming in this year, we're going to have a ton of volunteer needs, and to have that participant experience that we want and strive for, you know, volunteers are key to that. So for 2023, we'll have 127 volunteer spots to fill. So that's a wide range of things, as you can see here. Set up, SAG drivers, course marshals, aid stations, tear down, etc. But you know, the thing here is that these shifts, you know, pretty short, low commitment to these, anywhere from an hour and a half to maybe 5 hours if you're out working at an aid station, but pretty short shifts. And you know, we can obviously be flexible with that too. You know, we appreciate any help that we can get. So if you only have an hour, you only have 2 hours, we can find somewhere for you to help out. And you know, Eminence feels like we're in the middle of nowhere. The course feels like it's in the middle of nowhere, but again, it's only 30 minutes from downtown Indianapolis, so it's really not too far of a drive to hop out there and participate, volunteer, whatever. You know, kind of as the perks for the volunteers, anybody that is interested in volunteering. So we give you a free event T-shirt. You get that free breakfast, lunch, snacks that I mentioned earlier. You have access to all that. You get a coupon for your lunch and a snow cone throughout the day. And then if you're a participant in the race, you know, we still have volunteer opportunities for somebody that is participating. You know, the week leading up to it, we have some volunteer slots, and then post-race, there's going to be some volunteer slots. And so any participants that volunteer with us, we actually credit part of their, or refund part of their race entry based on the number of volunteer hours they provided. So if you're participating, you can get a discounted or even a free you know, race entry just by volunteering a little bit before, a little bit after the race. And then, as I mentioned, you know, we've sold out every year so far and pretty quickly. So volunteering, if you want to get into the event, didn't get into it for 2023, volunteering is a great way that you can guarantee access for 2024. So we give all of our volunteers early access to registration. So they'll be the first ones that have the capability to sign up when registration opens for 2024. And so if you're interested in volunteering or want to find out more, you can visit dustbowl100.com/volunteer.
Great. I think you've provided a great overview of the event. It's really, really awesome. I honestly didn't know anything about the Dust Bowl 100, and now I do. So hopefully this will also allow others to find out about it. And the back roads of Indiana are really pretty unknown. And I think, you know, especially on gravel roads, and I think that would be a really neat addition to the race and ride calendar for people.
Yeah, it's people always say, like, yeah, to get off the normal, the highways and the busy roads, they're always surprised at how pretty it is and how quiet it is, and just the scenery. It's not just, you know, cornfields and bean fields. I mean, there's a lot of different terrain that you get to see. So it's really cool. And I got maybe 2 more slides with just some contact information at the end, but so sponsorship opportunities, you know, we do have sponsorship opportunities, both monetarily and in kind. So if that's something any company is interested in, helping out with the event, they can visit dustbowl100.com/sponsorship. And there's more info there. We like to treat each like sponsorship kind of as a one-off kind of unique thing. We want to bring the most value to our sponsors, bring the most return on investment, the best activation for them. So it's kind of a, each sponsorship and discussion is a bit different. So if you're interested, there's the link for that. And then this year's event, again, Saturday, July 22nd, in Eminence, 800 participants. And, I guess for the women, there's still some spots as of today that are available. So that's it. And if you're interested in those, you can go to bikeridge.com/dustbowl100. And we do have wait lists for the event too. So if you want to sign up on a wait list, and you have an opportunity to potentially get into the event if somebody that's currently signed up isn't able to participate. So check out that registration link there. And then I'll just leave my contact information up here as we close, with the website, Facebook, Instagram, pretty active on both of those, and then my contact information below.
Great. I just wanted to thank you and also give a shout out to Jeff Smallwood, who made me aware of this event and had put us in contact from B&O Trail. So there's all sorts of different opportunities for bicycling, and this is something new on people's radar, are gravel races, and I don't think we have too many gravel events right now in Indiana. So but yeah, sounds great.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the time, and let me talk through all this. I have a big passion for it, as you can tell. I think I talked for like 45 minutes, so apologies for the length of it, but it's fun. So
yeah, it's all good information, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about it in the future as well. So thanks very much for joining me, and we'll have this up, like I said, on Bicycle Garage Indy's YouTube channel and in our Facebook page, so people can find out about it, and hopefully you can get some additional volunteers for your event for this year. So.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Connie. I appreciate it.
Thank you.